Hi, welcome to Action Research Lesson 2. So in this lesson, we're going to talk about how to write a good problem statement. So contents of this lesson, first of all, we're going to talk about the key points to consider before writing a problem statement. Then after that, we define what is a problem statement, then why a problem statement is important. We talk about the features of a problem statement, questions to ask yourself while writing a problem statement, the format of a problem statement, and the example of a problem statement. So on key points to consider before writing a problem statement, the researcher must provide justification for the need to conduct the study. So you have to find out what gap will the study fill, and how will the study contribute to the existing body of knowledge. So you also check the impact of the study for the subject field which you are studying. If it's in education, you look at that. If it's in science, you look at that. If it's in accounting or commerce, you look at that. So in other words, how will the research improve the field which you want to study? And then who will it impact? How will it make changes in your industry or the field or a workplace, for example? So lastly, the proposed research must be relatable, interesting, and engaging to the person who reads it. Then what is a problem statement? So a problem statement is a statement of the current issue or a current problem that requires timely action to improve the situation. So this statement concisely explains the barrier the current problem places between the functional process or a product and the current problematic situation. So in other words, a problem statement is a concise or a short or a brief description of the problem or issues a project seeks to address. So remember in the first lesson, we were saying you go and identify the problem at your workplace, a problem which you can create an intervention for. So now, after identifying the problem, you have to write a problem statement. So that's what we are discussing. So the problem statement, it identifies the current state or a situation, the desired future state or a situation, and any gaps between the two. So it's something you are writing about what's going on now and what happens in the future on that situation. So this statement is completely objective, focusing only on facts. That means you have to do a little literature review or a little problem analysis. You go around, you find also other institutions or other places which suffered the same problem. So you read their paper and what they wrote. So it's focusing only on the facts which you are going to identify through that literature review. And it's not subjective, so it's not coming from your brain or your thoughts. It's something which you have to write also based on facts of other studies that have done the same topic. So why is a problem statement important? So a problem statement, it helps to ensure everyone working on a project knows what the problem they need to address is and why the project is important. It also helps the reader to identify the core reason for your research and see how your work fits into the existing body of knowledge. If you require funding for your research, a problem statement can help the potential financiers to see why investing in your project is the right move to make. So it also gives them an overview of the existing problem, your solution, the ones which you are going to suggest, and the impact of your solution on the field of study. Then it also helps to create or brainstorm possible solutions. Then it clearly identifies the goals of the project and outlines the scope of a project. So it guides the activities and the decisions of the people who are working on that project. So when the desired solution is implemented later, a problem statement can help ensure that the steps put in place can prevent the original problem from occurring or recurring in the future. So, what are the features of a problem statement? So, number one, usually in a problem statement, you find that the first thing which they talk or which they write or discuss is the problem. So, the problem, there you expose the details of the problem you are presenting and why it's a problem that should be solved. You have to mention all that. Then the second one, the proposed solution. So, after writing the problem, you write now the proposed solution. You put your details of your proposed solution. Then thirdly, you also list the reasons why the solution will fix the problem and how it will be implemented. So there you write the details of why your solution will fix the problem and how you will implement the solution. Fourthly, concise. So when you write a problem statement, it should not be a long, like 2 pages or 3 pages. It should just be maybe a page or a page and a half. You should be able to summarize your problem as well as different elements of how and why it's a problem. Fifthly, specific. So it means your problem statement should be specific. It should not be generalized about the problem, but you should be specific on what you are targeting. So there should be only one issue or a problem in a problem statement. Your research and actions then only must focus on solving that one problem and reduce confusion by mentioning 2 or more problems at the same time. So make sure the problem which you have identified at your workplace, you remain focused on it. You write a problem statement on it and you suggest solutions on it. Don't write like so many problems and you add them together in one problem statement. It can be confusing. Then the sixthly, measurable. So you must be clear about how you are able to measure and convey both the problem and your proposed solutions. So this is usually done by communicating the problem in terms of the degree, the severity, and the frequency. So these are important items you need to remember when writing a problem statement. Then questions which you can ask yourself while you are planning to write a problem statement. You can do this. See, number one, you can ask yourself, what is the problem? Number two, how often does the problem occur? So you want to know how often that problem occurs so that you can determine the severity. If it occurs frequently, you know that problem is a major issue. But if it occurs rarely or less frequently, you know that this is not the problem you need to address for now. Then you also ask yourself, where does the problem occur? So you can look in your department. Remember the thing which we discussed in the last lesson, like you can look at the system itself. If it's not the system, you look at the group of people who are working maybe in your department. Then if it's not the group of people, then you look at yourself. What are your weaknesses and what are your strengths? So you can look at that way, from the system to the group of people to you. So you find, where does that problem occur? Then number four, when does this problem occur? You need to know the time. Is it in the mornings or is it in the afternoons or is it in the evenings? Or besides time of the day, you can just check season. Is it happening during the rainy seasons or during the time where it's dry, where it's hot? You need to know when exactly. Or in terms of months, maybe it's happening only January to March or June to July and so forth. You are the one to find out. Then who does the problem impact? So you need to know, like, is it on the students or is it the whole system, maybe the staff members and the students or the trainers? You have to find who is being affected by that problem. Then what causes the problem? Also, you need to see, is it maybe from a personal perspective or from the group of people working together in that department or another department? Maybe they're affecting the other department or the system as a whole. Maybe you need to find where exactly the problem is originating from. Or maybe it could be an external issue, maybe the legal issues or other things which relate to the laws of Kenya. Then number seven, how would things ideally work if the problem wasn't present? So these are the things you ask yourself while you are planning to write a problem statement, because it helps you to develop a solution. So you need to know, like, in case the problem was not there, how would the system work normally? How is it supposed to work? You need to mention that. Then why is this a problem? And why does it matter? You need to answer that question. Then what impact does the problem cause? So again, it goes back to who is affected and so forth. So is it a health related, like its impact, is it health related, economic, social, or other fields? Then which possible solution or solutions do you suggest to the problem you are going to propose? So there you can be creative, you can do brainstorming, you can think of some different ways to solve the problem. And the ways you need to think of are practical. Think of practical, something which you can do, or something which someone can do. Then number 11, what are the predicted benefits and outcomes of the solutions which you are suggesting? So after suggesting a solution, you need to write the benefits also. Like if people follow this solution, the benefits would be so, 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 and so, so, or the outcomes of following this solution would be so, so, and so, so. Then the last question you can ask yourself is, any other questions you consider relevant to your problem? You can also add your own questions which you think also. So like I said, the format of a problem statement, first you write your problem, you define it here, you define what the problem is clearly and briefly, concisely. Make it no longer than one or two sentences. So you write the problem, you define it. Then after that, you write the background. So this is the section where you can describe what causes the problem. If you know, so if you don't know, you can do a literature review on that problem. You find what other papers are saying about that problem, especially the causes. Then how often it occurs, where is it occurring, and when is it occurring, and then who does the problem impact. Then after that, you write the evidence that supports the existence of the problem. That's why I said you do a small literature review. You find some existing papers about that problem. Then you can include the definitions of major concepts and terms. So for example, maybe you are looking at students are coming late to class, so you can also define what is late, coming late to class, what is it? You can also define it in terms of the education field. Then for if it's another department like finance or ICT, you can also define some terms like ICT means what, finance means what. You need to define so that the people who read can understand. Then relevance, you want to show how the problem is relevant as well as why it matters and requires a solution. So this is a great space to specify why it's a problem and what impacts it causes. So if it fits comfortably, you can also articulate or explain how the things could ideally work if the problem wasn't present. So relevance here, in short, it just means you just write the ideal situation. Like if the problem was not present, the system or the department should work like this. So you need to explain. Then the last thing, objectives. This section doesn't require details or length, as the problem statement is in the area of your research project. So you should lay out a brief plan of what you are going to investigate and how that should help you formulate solutions. So you can also hypothesize on possible solutions. So when you're writing those objectives, they're like your possible solutions. And then how you are going to how people are going to benefit from those solutions which you propose. Then an example here you see is an example of a problem statement. So you see they started writing the problem, followed by the background, followed by the relevance, and then the objectives. So you see here, it was the ICT department which were doing their action research problem statement. So they wrote the problem here. Live online sessions may be delivered in virtual classrooms from Adobe Connect, Illuminate, GoToMeeting, Wimba, and other software programs. Regardless of the software used, student attendance at the live online sessions, especially optional ones, can be unpredictable at best. So it is a common complaint among the online faculty at a university in the South that oftentimes most of their students do not attend the live online sessions. So this study will address the problem of low student attendance at non-mandatory virtual classroom meetings in online college courses. So this is their problem. You see how they wrote. So you can also, when you identify your problem at your workplace, you can also write the way they did. Then the background, you see, they did a small literature review. You need to look maybe at 5 articles at most which talk about your problem so that you have meat to describe your problem. So on the background here, you see Offer, Lev, and Bazala 2008 found that interaction level in a synchronous class, also known as web conferencing, to be a significant factor in effectiveness of the class. Other researchers describe the power of a synchronous online system to empower students in conversation and expression. 2009. However, if students do not attend, then they cannot interact nor express themselves. So that's the background of the problem where the researcher got interest there. Now on relevance, they said, according to Skylar, research concerning the use of newer multimedia technology such as interactive synchronous web conferencing tools is still in its infancy and needs further and continued study. Page 82. Mark Brian Johnson Cheng 2009 stated that more studies are needed to explore students' perceptions of the synchronous learning experiences. So a variety of studies have explored the differences in functionalities of the various platforms. Okay, 2010, but they did not get to the heart of why students do or do not attend. So the person tried to show why it's relevant to do this study, right? And then objectives. This study will benefit the college and university administrators who can create or revise their policies based upon the results. They may even decide to change virtual classroom providers. Then faculty may benefit if results indicate a change is needed in the practices. Finally, the study will benefit online students whose learning experiences will be improved by the findings. So you can also make your problem statement like this. This way, the way this guy did. So references, you can read the book Action Research Guidebook by Richard D. Siegel, or Doing Action Research by Claire Taylor, Min Wilkie, and Judith Besser. These books are on Buku Library. You check on Buku Library, you find them. And then when you open, you see a chapter. There's a chapter written writing the problem statement, so you can also read. And then if you have time, you can click this link. You read about how to write a problem statement by the website www.indeed.com. It also has a good explanation of how to write a problem statement. And then after this lesson now, there's an assignment which you can do in your free time. So there are 7 questions which you are supposed to address. So the first question is, what is a problem statement? So from this lesson, you can understand what it is. Then you write in your own words what you think it is. Then if you want, you can do an extra reading. Then you write what you understand after reading. Then why is it important to have a problem statement in your research? You can also write reasons why you think it's important to have, or maybe it's not really important. Then number 3, what topics can you include in your problem statement? So you look at the problem which you have identified in lesson number 1. Then after looking at it now, you can try to brainstorm which topics you can include in your problem statement. So of course, we know the format of the problem statement. You start with the problem, background, relevance, and then objective or proposed solutions. So now you can try to think what you are going to write under your problem statement. 4, why is the problem statement important when planning to write an action research proposal. So we want to know whether you can link the importance of the problem statement to a action research proposal. You write your reasons why you think it's important to have it. Then number 5, what are the key features of a good problem statement? So remember, in this lesson we have already highlighted them. So you go back, you read them, understand them, and then you write the answer in the assignment. Number 6, which types of questions can you ask yourself when planning to write a problem statement? So remember, there's a slide which I told you about the possible questions you can ask yourself before writing a problem statement. 7, write a problem statement. So now after answering number 1 to 6, or number 1 to 6, right? You need now to write a small paragraph, or at least a 1 page of your problem statement that you have identified at your workplace from the previous lesson. So you now attempt to write a problem statement. Then we look at it and then we mark and then discuss about whether you were successful or maybe you need a revision. So with that, that's where we reach the end of the lesson. And I want to thank you for your attendance and your commitment. And also, I want to thank you for having your time to listen to this lesson. So let's meet for lesson number 3 next week. Thank you so much.